The sleek, silver shuttle of the Alari royal fleet descended through a turbulent sky of bruised purple and jagged lightning. Inside, Princess Lyra clutched the armrests of her gilded throne seat, her iridescent scales shimmering with a nervous, pale blue light. Beside her, Commander Vale stood rigid, his hand hovering over his heavy plasma sidearm. "Your Highness, I must protest one final time," Vale grunted, his eyes fixed on the viewscreen. "Earth is classified as a Category 9 death world. Its atmospheric pressure is crushing, its gravity is a physical assault, and this resort is built on an active tectonic fault line." Lyra took a deep, steadying breath. "The Alari Dominion cannot afford to look weak, Vale. The Galactic Senate whispers that we are fragile. If I, the Crown Princess, can spend a standard week relaxing in a human vacation spot, and return unscathed, it will silence our critics forever." The shuttle hissed to a halt. The pressurized doors slid open, admitting a rush of thick, heavy air that smelled of salt, ozone, and wet earth. Waiting on the tarmac was a single human male wearing a brightly colored, short-sleeved shirt patterned with primitive foliage, loose cotton shorts, and open-toed footwear made of synthetic foam. "Welcome to Point Tempest," the human boomed, offering a wide, toothy grin that made Vale instinctively flinch. "I'm Jax, your resort concierge. Let's get you folks checked in before the afternoon squall hits." The trek to the main lodge was an exercise in sheer terror for the Alari royals. The path was bordered by towering, aggressively green flora that seemed to reach out in the humid wind. "What is the status of your biocontainment shielding?" Vale demanded, scanning the canopy with a handheld scanner that was frantically throwing warning codes. "My sensors indicate millions of active pathogens in the immediate atmosphere." Jax chuckled, tossing their luggage onto a low-wheeled cart. "Oh, we don't use bioshields here. Just some local insect repellent if the midges get biting. Your environmental suits will filter the worst of it, but honestly, the sea breeze keeps the air pretty clean." Lyra stared in disbelief as they passed a sandy basin where several humans, including children, were submerged in the crashing waves of a massive, saltwater ocean. "They are bathing in a highly corrosive, sodium chloride-saturated solution," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. "Without environmental armor. Are they executing prisoners? What? No, that's just the beach." Jax laughed heartily. "The water's great today, a bit of a rip current, but nothing a decent swimmer can't handle. Just watch out for the Portuguese man-o'-war. Their sting is a real party pooper." By evening, the Alari delegation had been settled into a villa constructed of local volcanic stone and heavy timber. To Lyra's horror, the structure lacked any reinforced blast plating. It was entirely open to the elements, separated from the wild jungle only by thin sheets of transparent mesh. Jax returned to deliver a platter of local cuisine as a welcoming gesture. "Complimentary local wings, courtesy of the chef. We spiced him up specially for our galactic guests." Vale immediately swept a scanner over the steaming, red-sauced protein. The device emitted a shrill, pulsing alarm, flashing red. "Alert! Bio-weapon detected," Vale bellowed, drawing his sidearm and pointing it at the plate. "This substance contains concentrated capsaicin. It is a highly restricted grade of military neurotoxin designed to cause severe tissue inflammation and respiratory failure in 90% of known sentient species." Jax blinked, looking entirely unfazed. "Bro, it's just buffalo sauce. It gives it a nice kick. I eat like 20 of these on trivia night." To prove his point, Jax casually picked up a piece of the doused meat and popped it into his mouth, chewing happily. Lyra watched in absolute horror, waiting for the human's throat to close or his organs to liquefy. Instead, he simply wiped his mouth with a paper napkin and smiled. On their third day, Lyra attempted to acclimatize to the planet's crushing gravity by taking a short walk along the volcanic cliffs overlooking the ocean. The air was thick with the scent of sulfur, and the ground vibrated faintly beneath her boots. "This entire planet is actively trying to tear itself apart," Vale muttered, his hand never leaving his weapon. "And the humans walk around with cold beverages as if they are in a simulated paradise." Suddenly, a low, mechanical wail echoed across the peninsula. It was a deep, rhythmic thrumming that vibrated through Lyra's chest cavity. sending her Alari instincts into a primal panic. An attack! Vale yelled, immediately stepping in front of the princess and raising his personal energy shield. Your Highness, prepare for emergency extraction. Jax, who had been escorting them with a cooler of chilled beverages slung over his shoulder, stopped and tilted his head, listening to the siren. Ah, bummer, Jax said, sighing. That's the Category 5 storm warning. Looks like an atmospheric depression is rolling in faster than expected, and the local sonic grid just went down. We should probably head back to the main lodge. A Category 5 atmospheric event? Lyra gasped. Your resort will be vaporized. We must launch our shuttle immediately. Nah, the shuttle port's automatic safety locks are already engaged, Jax said casually, turning back toward the lodge. We'd never clear the upper thermosphere in this wind. Best to just hunker down and grab a board game. By the time they reached the lodge, the sky had turned pitch black, illuminated only by violent sheets of blue lightning that danced across the churning ocean. The wind howled with a deafening roar, ripping branches from the trees and hurling them against the reinforced glass of the lodge's common room. Lyra and Vale stood in the center of the room, their defensive shields fully activated, expecting to see a scene of chaotic panic. Instead, they found 30 human tourists gathered around a massive stone fireplace. Some were sipping dark, amber liquids from heavy glasses. Others were engaged in a loud, boisterous game of rolling plastic dice on a wooden table. A group in the corner was actually singing, their voices barely carrying over the thunder. They are singing, Vale whispered, his eyes wide with profound confusion. They are facing imminent atmospheric destruction, and they are singing sea shanties. Hey, Jax, a burly human male in a floral shirt shouted from the bar. Did the sonic grid blow a fuse again? Does that mean the big guys are gonna come up to the shallows? Probably, Jax called back, setting his cooler down. Make sure the kids stay off the veranda, Mike. We don't need anyone getting grabbed before dinner. Lyra's breath hitched. The big guys. What is out there? Before Jax could answer, a massive tremor shook the entire lodge, far more violent than any earthquake they had felt so far. The transparent viewing wall, built to withstand immense pressure, vibrated with a sickening, low-frequency hum. Out in the ocean, illuminated by a massive fork of lightning, a nightmare rose from the boiling waves. It was a creature of colossal proportions, its body covered in armored, obsidian plating that glistened in the dark. A dozen thick, muscular tentacles, each lined with razor-sharp, serrated barbs, thrashed against the rocky shoreline. Its massive, bioluminescent eyes locked onto the lights of the lodge, and it let out a screech that shattered several decorative glasses on the bar. Skyla-class Leviathan, Vale shouted, his training taking over. I have read of these beasts in the galactic archives. They are apex oceanic predators capable of crushing reinforced deep space hulls. We are doomed. There is no military presence on this planet to save us. He aimed his plasma rifle at the glass, his hands shaking. I will buy you time, princess. Run. Jax gently reached out and tapped Vale's shoulder, patting the barrel of the plasma rifle down. Whoa, buddy, take it easy. No shooting through the glass. It ruins the seal, and the manager will dock my pay. Vale stared at the human as if he had grown a second head. Are you insane? That monster will breach this structure and consume us all. I mean, she's definitely cranky, Jax said, looking out at the colossal beast with an expression of mild annoyance. The sonic grid usually keeps them out past the reef. But when the power grid blows, they get curious about the lights. Don't worry, we've got a protocol for this. Behind them, the group of humans playing board games stood up. They didn't scream. They didn't run to the escape pods. Instead, they stretched, groaned about having to pause their game, and began walking toward a heavy metal locker in the back of the room. All right, folks, Mike, the man from the bar, called out. Storm Team Alpha, grab the heavy lines. Let's get this over with so we can finish the tournament. Lyra watched, utterly paralyzed, as the humans opened the locker. She expected to see experimental, high-yield thermonuclear weaponry or heavy military-grade power armor. Instead, they pulled out thick, braided nylon ropes, heavy-duty metal harpoons with blunt, rubberized tips, and long, carbon fiber poles tipped with what looked like oversized, electrified tines. "You are going out there?" Lyra gasped, grabbing Jax's arm. "In a Category 5 storm? Against a creature that could swallow your shuttle hull? With sticks?" "We call 'em cattle prods, Your Highness," Jax said, slipping a bright yellow rain slicker over his floral shirt. "And the harpoons are just for tethering. We don't want to kill her. She's a protected species under local wildlife laws. We just need to give her a little shock to let her know the buffet is closed." With a casual nod, Jax, Mike, and 6 other tourists, men and women alike, some still holding their half-finished drinks, pushed open the heavy, wind-swept doors of the lodge and stepped directly out into the raging, lethal tempest. Through the rain-streaked viewing glass, Lyra and Vale watched a spectacle that defied every law of galactic biology and psychology. The Leviathan roared, a tentacle smashing down onto the stone patio, pulverizing a concrete planter. But the humans didn't scatter in fear. They moved with a terrifying, synchronized fluidity, born of a species that had evolved on a world where everything tried to kill them. 2 humans threw their weight against a heavy winch, launching a steel-headed tether that wrapped securely around the beast's primary mantle. The Leviathan thrashed, pulling the line taut, but the humans dug their heels into the wet earth, laughing as they used the creature's own momentum to trip it against the rocks. Jax slid slickly through the mud, dodging a swinging, barbed tentacle by mere inches. With a wide, manic grin, he jammed the electrified carbon fiber pole directly into the sensitive skin near the creature's main sensory cluster. A massive surge of blue electrical energy arced across the beast. The Leviathan shuddered, let out a high-pitched whine, and began to back away, sliding off the rocks and retreating back into the safety of the deep, dark ocean. Within 10 minutes, the beach was empty again, save for the crashing waves. The heavy doors of the lodge swung open, and the humans trooped back inside, shaking the rainwater from their hair and laughing. "Man, that was a big one," Mike yelled, wiping mud from his face. "Hey, bartender, round of shots for the storm team." Jax walked over to Lyra, pulling off his rainhood. He was breathing heavily, but his pulse was steady, and his eyes danced with a genuine, terrifying adrenaline rush. "Sorry about the interruption, Princess," Jax said, offering her a freshly cracked coconut with a paper straw. "Usually, the resort is a lot more relaxing. Can I get you anything else to help you wind down?" Lyra looked at the coconut, then at the laughing, singing humans who had just bullied a galactic-scale nightmare back into the sea with ropes and static electricity. She realized, with sudden, blinding clarity, the great mistake of the galaxy. The galaxy feared humans because they thought humans were violent, bloodthirsty warmongers. But the truth was infinitely worse. Humans weren't monsters. They were simply a species so utterly unfazed by the horrors of the universe that they turned them into a recreational sport. Slowly, Lyra opened her personal communicator, bypassing the local jam signals to send an encrypted, Priority 1 message directly to the Alari High Emperor. Message: cancel all planned territorial disputes near human space immediately. They do not fear the dark. They invite it to play. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe my channel.